Hello, Playdate. This is Don.
This is Nick.
And I'm Ryan.
This week we're covering Playdate news.
Recent indie releases.
And serving all that up to you like the cutlery of the Playdate community.
Thank you for listening to this special end of the year episode, end of the year in February episode. Let's get started.
I'm very confused. Almost as confusing as us being cutlery. By the way, speaking of which, if we were all different cutlery, who would be the fork, knife, and spoon?
I'll take knife. I don't mind being a knife.
Knife?
Yeah.
Don's sharp. I get that. Yes.
Mm,
Nick? Spoon or fork?
Whatever's left over.
Are you cuddly or are you jabby?
Depends on the day. How about you?
kind of cuddly.
All right. We can switch off. We can have partial custody of each piece of cutlery. What do you say?
Sounds delightful.
Draw a line. We won't need two sporks.
All right. Okay, so it sounds like it might be time for a respectful boop into the news and notes for today. And boy, howdy, we've got some of them. Starting with Play Jam 7. Possibly Axolotl is back at it again with the 7th Play Jam. This time it's over on the old Blue Skis. Submissions for this Play Jam are open from March 7th, 2025 to March 10th, 2025. And in case you're thinking about maybe doing the old, submission, here's some rules for you. They've got to run on a Playdate console or on the Playdate simulator. It's got to be safe for work. You can submit as many games as you want with teams of as many people as you want, as long as they're made in the jam period. And submissions may not promote discriminatory views such as racism, sexism, homophobia, or transphobia. Good. And submissions must be free or have a free jam version available. We've got a link to that in the show notes of today's episode. Don and Nick, which one of you are submitting to Play Jam 7?
Nick, you up for it?
Not this year. But I look forward to playing the game that you make, Don.
I'm definitely looking forward to playing whatever's available in the Play Jam 7. The last 6 have been excellent.
Awesome. I'm happy to be a catalyst for that passive-aggressive war we just had.
Mhm.
And with that said, let's move on
It's the
to the
second
next,
one of the episode.
the next news and note, which is Playdate games have been added to the Game UI database. Are you guys aware of this? Are you familiar with a Game UI database?
Don't
I
think
have
so.
Never
I
heard
wasn't
of that, no.
either. And so let me spin you a little yarn about what this is. Evidently, the Game UI database was created by a fellow named Ed Coates. And this is a free resource for UI and UX designers and the games industry, and built to aid in the discovery of new inspiration and to provide a fast and efficient way of searching for reference material. So I thought that was pretty cool. Evidently, Panic provided this guy with a play date, from my understanding, so that he could take a bunch of screenshots and start to include them in this UI database he's making. So once again, link in the show notes if you want to check that out.
This is
So-
awesome.
Isn't it cool?
This is so
It's
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
definitely
this
check
kind
it
of
out.
stuff. This is
Mhm.
sweet. I'm going to be spending some time looking through this for sure.
Yeah, when I saw this roll across the old news feed, I was poking around in here for a while for sure.
Yeah, I love this, man. Okay. Yeah, new favorite site.
All right. While Don and Nick are surfing the web on the gameuidatabase.com, let me also tell you about a new Squid God video. This is up on the old TubeUbes. It's called The Hidden Secrets of Playdate Performance Optimization. I swear, I feel like Squid God just came out with a video not long ago. Here is another one. It's roughly an hour long this time, but don't let that frighten you because it's actually very accessible. Even I was able to comprehend much of it thanks to his many analogies and examples and visual descriptions. I got through about half of it. I am not a game designer, but I felt like I was even following what he was saying. So if you are interested in developing games for the Playdate, I think this is probably a pretty killer video to check out. So Nicholas, I know you're real busy, like that is why I did not mention it to you earlier in the week for you to watch. But man, if you ever find a second to breathe, I'd be real interested in your opinion on the whole optimization video here.
Yeah, I saw this released, but I as you noted, haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But I'm assuming based on the title that it is going to be a good watch.
Yeah, yeah. There's a controversial thumbnail image for the video too. I don't know if it's sparked controversy, but it has a picture of the Playdate and it says something to the effect of runs like a potato, which is like, oh God, aren't you trying to like bolster confidence in this platform? I don't know if that thumbnail is the right way to do it, but probably a good clickbaity thing. I don't. Anyway,
It
go
caught my
watch it.
attention.
The video, right? The video is good. The video is not as clickbaity. It's a lot more informative. And man, speaking as a fellow educator, it looks like an absolute ton of work was put into this video. Like I said, I watched probably about 25, 30 minutes of it and just thinking about producing it. Oh, boy, howdy. This must be most of what Squid God does. So thank you for putting that together. Also, part of the news and notes is the fact that Panic finally announced the new Playdate box. They said we've redesigned the Playdate box. It now uses less material and is 100% recyclable, no more foam, and it's easier to ship. A tiny box for a tiny game system. So I know we were postulating about this, why they might have done it. I'm sure cost was a factor, but also the fact that it is recyclable, no use of foam. We did not know that last time.
Oh,
And a whole lot less material. So that's cool.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm glad we got some
mhm.
details.
Yeah. Speaking of Panic, they are looking for a web services engineer. I know this is not exactly Playdate news, but if anybody is looking to potentially join the Panic team and, maybe sidestep your way over to the old Playdate section, Panic says, heads up, Panic, thus Playdate, is looking for a web services engineer to maintain and expand our growing flock of Flask plus Django web applications and more. Maybe you know what that means, and if so, potentially you might want this job. Anyhow, the job is here in Portland, they say. We can also cover USA relocation. Is this you or someone you know? Apply or share. Once again, link in the show notes. So, which one of you is going to be the next Panic employee? It's not me because I don't know what Flask and Django are.
That is something that I do, but I think I will leave this for somebody closer. But
Hey,
very
USA
cool.
relocation.
I see that. I see that.
Okay, thought maybe you missed it. All right. Well, guys, I'm not upset about this, but Irish Jiminy, there's a new cute Playdate cage built by Irish Jiminy. Irish Jiminy posted this on the old socials and 3D printed this lovely little cage. Every once in a while, somebody comes up with new, unique Playdate accessory. I just wanted to share it with the community. Irish Jiminy, I'm sure, wants to share it with the community since he put that up on the old socials. So you can check it out in the links on our show notes. And if that weren't enough excitement, we've entered the uncranked corner of the Hello Playdate podcast news and notes, starting with the uncranked throwback. All right, so this is another new initiative by Zanya, and this is where devs can showcase their game trailers from games that have already come out a while back. So if you've got Playdate games that have come out between 2021 and 2024, hey, you can submit your games that have already been released to have a little bit more promotion for them, to give them a second push. Evidently, there's been some talk in the Playdate dev community about how upon release, there's some excitement and sales, but then that dies off pretty hard. So this is an attempt to push some of those old gems that maybe you're not thinking about anymore after release, because there, as we've said, is a ton of game releases on the Playdate. So really an embarrassment of riches for us as players, but as devs, kind of hard to remain in the public consciousness since there's so many games coming out. So I chat with Zanya about this and said, hey, lots of stuff going on here. You got the uncranked throwback. You got the what is it? The game jams. You've got the directs. There's the Playdate atelier. And what's different from the throwback to the atelier? And evidently, the atelier is where devs can showcase in progress games. They're not coming out. They're not out right now. But if they want to get some hype train moving, they can do that in the atelier. If you have a game that's already out, that's the uncranked throwback. If you got a game that's coming out real soon or out now, to my understanding, that is the direct. So got a few different ways to support devs and let players know about games past, present, and future. What do you guys think about all that?
I think it's a cool idea. Very cool idea. Yeah,
Mhm.
shine an eye on stuff that's been overlooked. I know when I get it doesn't happen very often, but if I get a system that has been out for a while, I'm like, oh, well, what stuff did I miss when I just wasn't paying attention? And now that it's been out for 3 years almost,
Yeah,
this could be a great way to shine the spotlight.
totally. Yeah. All right. Well, we're not leaving that uncranked corner yet. We are firmly in timeout here. And the next thing I'd like to chat with you about is the Uncranked Arts and Music Showcase, which is coming up on February 28th, 2025. That is the presentation, and it's going to honor members in the Playdate community for, you guessed it, art and music. So the window to nominate is done. There's no link for you to click just yet. I just wanted to keep this in your mind so that you can mark your calendars and be a part of it when this showcase releases on February 28th. So be there, be square. Um, Still hanging out in Uncranked Sanctuary here. There is going to be a shop sale. In fact, not going to be. There is right now a shop sale. It's running from February 10th to February 15th, 2025, and you can grab a bunch of Uncranked stuff for 15 to 20% off. These are at both of the shops. That means Uncranked Shopify and also Zanya Lasagna's store, Envy store. Both of them are having a sale right now. If you've missed out on anything Uncranked related, sounds like now is the time to get it. And let's see here. Oh, the Uncranked Game Jam Winter Edition is taking place right now. I put this in here, didn't I? Yes, I did.
Hmm.
So lots of things to remember today. So evidently 4 days remain. Submissions are open from,
Mm-mm.
oh gosh.
No,
Oh,
that's old
Dawn.
news, man.
What?
That's old
Did it-
news.
Oh, what? I don't know what I'm supposed to say when you deleted it. Now I'm really confused.
Just keep moving.
What to?
You've got a couple weeks to vote. You can play the submissions now, and you got a
Okay.
couple weeks to vote.
Boy, threw me off my game. Now what? I think that's it. I think that's gonna do it for the news and
Okay.
notes. How's that for a
Well,
transition?
those dates were out of date. I didn't
Uh,
want to.
I didn't even know what I was reading, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. That's what happened on
Didn't
my
want to
end.
throw bad dates out.
Well, thank you for saving me from myself, sort of, and then I got myself in a pickle. But you know what I do when I'm worried? Hoobity boop boop, moving us into the in the inventory question mark. Does it?
Yeah, we have one destination update, destination play date, released a video on Pup Cup. There'll be a link in the show notes if you want to check that out. It's only
Does
3 minutes long, so
I'm once again confused. Isn't that usually part of indie inventory, or do we do that as part of the news and notes? The
it's
destination
part of
update?
news and notes, but it's
Brain,
okay.
come on. All right. Are you waiting for another boop?
We
Boopity boop
record we
in the
record all
inventory?
these episodes. You ever want to listen back and check them out, right? I'll provide you with a
Overrated.
link.
Overrated. I'm our 1-star rating. No, I'm just kidding.
Playdatepodcast.com.
Don, please tell us about indie inventory.
Indie inventory is where we share and highlight some of the recent games that have come out on the Playdate device. There's a bunch that you can try out as part of that winter Uncranked Game Jam Winter Edition. So those entries are out there and they are populating the itch store right now. You can try those out for free and then vote on them. But beyond that, there's also the Clap Along app. Have you guys heard about this?
Oh man, no, let's hear about it.
So the Playdate Community Awards are coming up, and this is an app that you will plug your Playdate into your computer, and then during the awards, you go to some website and you can clap along, like crank your Playdate, and it will
Oh,
clap during the show and
that's
somehow
incredible.
work with some website to
That's
interact with the
incredible.
show. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a video on how it works on the link.
Oh,
It's
I
by
love it.
Grackalope Games. So it's
Huh.
called Clap Along.
There's a little like almost ginger beard man-esque. Am I getting that right? Like a
Yeah.
claymation looking thing. Interesting. Yeah, so fun. Such a cool idea.
It's like a
Love
Mr.
that.
Game and Watch kind of vibe. Got little flags and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, very cool little app that I'm looking forward to trying out in a couple weeks.
Neat. Name your own price. Hop on there and get it.
Yeah. Next up is Duel of Shadows by Dominic Haas. This is a part of the, what is it? I'm opening the page. Boss Rush Jam submission, but it's a name your own price. And the idea is you're fighting bosses. The animation looks really smooth, but it reminds me of like Dead Cells or something. The way the fighting happens, and it's a side-scrolling boss battle game. Yeah.
Huh. That looks
Downloaded,
really
haven't
interesting.
played.
I love the animations. There's this like really prancy walk going on here, and like
Hmm.
the weaponry and swooshes from that look incredible. Wow, wow, this looks really great.
Looks, yeah, the mechanics look awesome. So,
And that's name your
highly
own price.
recommend.
What?
Yeah. So, highly recommend checking this out. Duel
I'll
of
say.
Shadows.
Yippers.
And then finally, we have the FBIC, the Federal Bureau of Ice Cream by Tim Prozenkis. And this is an arcade game played by holding your Playdate sideways. Then you use the
Yeah.
crank to move a hand of a creature or animal or person so they catch falling ice cream scoops. The I don't know, it kind of looks like Mike Tyson's Punch Out or something, but
It does, yeah.
but ice cream themed.
So
Uh,
interesting. I love that they turn the Playdate sideways, and it makes me think of, and maybe they incorporate it. I don't know. But did you guys ever have those old-timey ice cream mixers where you'd like
mhm.
crank it on top to make the ice cream? I wonder if there's some element of that in this game. Seems ripe for
I
that.
don't know. Yeah, it does. Yeah, where you put the what is it, rock salt in there. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I don't know, but it's got unlockable achievements for every level and it looks pretty neat. I don't know, it looks fun. Cute art style. So it's 2.99 and yeah, check it out.
Cool. Looking great, Tim Prazinkis.
And then there's a billion catalog games. So here we go.
Yeah. Speaking of looking great, what's this first one?
Speaking of ice cream or cream, Pop Cup has been released on catalog. We talked about this a few weeks ago. This is a Ledbetter game, $3, and he's been working on more and more features. So keep an eye out for even more support for this one. But future pup dates, he calls them. But I wanted to thank Dylan for supplying us with review copies, and he's always thinking of us. So, great friend of the show. But so,
Indeed.
congratulations on your release of Pup Cup on
This looks
catalog now.
great. This looks great, Ledbetter. I love these like anticipatory dogs who are like wrapping their
They're ready for
fingers
it.
as the cream fills up. It looks really fun.
Yes. Uh, very, very cool. A root like, I think it's called. Next up is Zen Sleep by Crowdfriend, $3. This is a sleep app, unique and fun sleep app. I don't know much about sleep apps. Have you guys tried any?
I don't know about them, but man, I would sure like to sleep better. Does this help with that?
It plays different soundscapes and has
Hmm.
a timer and whatnot. Nick, this seems like a Nick thing.
Nick, do
Um,
you ever sleep?
I don't think he sleeps.
I don't know, but if I did, this might be a helpful aid.
It's like Da Vinci.
But yeah,
He does 20, gets 20 minutes in at his desk for lunch, and that's
Oh
about it.
God. Yeesh.
Anyway, that's Zen Sleep. Next up from Swan Song is Date Night. It's $1. This we talked about a long time ago, but it's a micro adventure about love. It's made with pulp, and it's got little challenges and stuff. I still have not got around to trying this as popular as it's been.
Hmm.
I really need to give this a try. Did you guys play Date Night yet?
No.
I have
Well,
not. Looks
now's
great though.
a great time to try it out because it's on catalog now. Date Night,
For a
$1.
dollar.
$1. And what a time. We got Valentine's Day in just a few days.
It's like they planned it.
Perfect timing. So that's Date Night. Next up is Hurry Gary by the Ozone Layer. Also $1. And what does this one look like? Nick, are you able to view the screen? Because this GIF reminds me of something.
Uh, this is a weird poll, but have you ever played Super Pitfall?
It's maybe 1,000 years ago. Is that what
It
this
it
looks like?
I mean, not really, but
Okay.
Just thought I'd throw it out there.
just thought I'd throw it out there. Yeah.
You're jumping on meatballs, and as the lava goes higher, and then you're grabbing gems, and it's like doodle jump, but it's like a procedural doodle jump. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's
you guys
very
ever
unique.
You're making your own platform out of these meatballs,
Meatballs.
cannonballs.
Yeah.
Are
Hey,
they
have you guys
meatballs?
They're
you guys ever
boulders.
played Mega Man before?
Never heard
You
of
I
it.
don't know if
you
you've
guys
heard of
ever
this game.
you ever played checkers in your life? How's about
It is it is
Mahjong?
very similar
Just
to both
curious.
You
Just
just throwing out
checkers
curious.
all
and
the
mahjong.
WarioWare. We getting all of our games we mentioned in
Hey,
Yeah.
you
the same
guys
time.
played Picross yet? I hear there's a Picross
Picross
craze
Oh,
Simulator.
sweeping the
Ryan.
nation.
Yes.
Ryan, I hope that you have though.
We'll find out
And
soon.
I knew I shouldn't have gone there.
All right. Next up is Close Approach by who's this by? Steven Namson for
Is
six
this a
dollars.
Picross?
This is not. This is a first-person space sim odyssey.
Huh.
This one I played on itch and really enjoyed. So I am happy to recommend this.
Ah.
It is $6. It's on catalog. You fly around and try to keep the whatever you're looking for, the space junk in the center of your view, and it is really engaging.
Hmm.
Yeah, check it out.
I really like the control panel UI. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Is there a crank integration to this, Don?
There is crank integration. Yes,
Ah,
use it
neat.
to focus on your space junk,
Hmm.
if I recall.
All right, let's keep it PG. What's the next game?
Next up is Spooky Squad. I could have sworn this was on catalog already, but I was wrong. I guess it just came out on catalog. This is by International Synapse, Spooky Squad, $6. This is the isometric Ghostbuster-ish game that was sweeping the nation back in October or so. It came out around Halloween, I think. Little ghost butts.
It's
Yeah,
true.
Ash
Y-
Campbell. Look at that. Wow. Pulling some big names here.
Yeah, this wowed me back when it came out, and does not surprise me that it made its way to catalog. It looks fantastic. What's not to love about an isometric adventure? Man, looks great.
Looks great. So I will be picking this one up. I guess I have not played it yet. Next up, Suborbital Salvage by Games Right Meow for $8. This one I have not heard of, but you fly a rocket around through a bunch of space junk. More space junk. You test your piloting skills. There's 50 plus hazards. It's specifically created for the crank. 100 plus handcrafted level segments and motivational dialogue from your cat supervisor. So there you go. It's got leaderboards and everything.
Yeah,
This looks pretty fun.
that thing looks more like a bird with a praying mantis hand on it. What is that thing?
It's a bird with a praying mantis hand.
That first
Yeah.
give?
It's like
You're talking about like the
a
snake or
fish.
whatever that is?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
snake or
That's
something.
a fish? What? That's a fish? Oh, that's its mouth. Oh, never mind.
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh.
I was looking at that in a very different way.
It's a jaw, yeah.
Never mind. Thank you for being here for me.
Okay.
Hey,
Did I
here's a
mention I
question
need
for
some sleep?
Yes, Nick.
so Ryan, since you need some sleep, you can recommend the sleep aid
Zen sleep.
application.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Have you all noticed that there are a lot of space themed games on the Playdate now?
Well, I
It
was just
seems
thinking
like,
how space junk seems to be the theme of this episode. Yes.
yeah, it's interesting to see development trends like that. Um, it seems like there's been quite a lot of space themed games recently.
Is that because space is black and white and the
You
screen is
know,
black and white?
that's a good point. Probably.
Maybe it's because
Hmm.
everyone loves space. I was just watching this documentary on Nintendo, and they got to the early 80s when arcades were really booming. And they were talking about how every arcade game was a space game, Space Invaders, Galaga, Galactica, everything was space, space, space. And then Donkey Kong came out and just, took the industry by storm. It was so incredibly different. It came in with its cutscenes and, Donkey Kong stealing, who is it, Penelope or
Pauline.
whoever? Yeah, there you go. And, bashing down those girders and making them diagonal and then your game starts. But you've got this like cinematic thing leading you in. Anyway, all that to say, it reminds me of the early 80s where everything was a space game. So I wonder if maybe there's something to early development and relying on space as a theme? Is that just like a universally loved and intriguing setting to have a game? I don't know.
You don't need
Things
to
to
make a
ponder.
you don't need to make a complicated background to get
That's true.
your point across.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Metroid, you got a black background, but what more do you need? Nothing.
I mean, Metroid's got a bit going on, but you got some pipes and stuff and you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. That is interesting.
In
Good
the
job
uh
picking up
in
on that, guys.
in the immortal words of Don's favorite band, things that make you go, hmm. No?
Yeah.
CNC Music
CNC
Factory?
Music
Yeah.
Factory.
Oh, Don, you knew it. Fantastic. I'm so proud
Well,
of you.
it's his favorite band. We've already
Rest,
established that. So.
rest in peace, Sibelius. Okay. Next up is Hope Lost for $9 by Dennis Van Swieten. This features 6 different apocalypses to play through. So it looks like a board game sort of thing, but I guess it's like a survival type game. Top-down survival. What's that game? Miles Born? Is that how you say it?
I think it's called Tetris. Is that what you're looking for?
Oh, you know
Or
Miles Born, the card game?
I don't.
You guys haven't heard of that game?
is it called Poker?
Well,
It's like one of the most famous card games of all time. Miles Born.
I haven't heard of that, but have you heard of this game called Super Pitfall? It's very similar.
Just like Super Pitfall. Anyway, looks pretty cool. The nuclear winter, Great Fall, Flood, Armageddon, etc. And you try to find food and stave off famine while you keep your survivors alive. I
Looks
don't know.
super interesting.
Those
And
look
for
kind of fun.
$9 from Dennis Van Swieten, who I'd like to apologize to for running this section off the rails. Looks like an incredible game, though. Hope Lost, if you're interested.
Those look fun. Next up from Fred's 72 is a game called Snow for $5. It's a first-person skier game on the Playdate.
Ah, oh my God. The
Yeah.
goggle vision. Amazing.
You chain tricks to earn in-game money and buy gear in the station shop. It is, yeah, it's what it sounds like, a first-person skiing game. You're going down a hill in first person. Looks pretty neat. 3D stuff. What is this? Vector graphics? Is that right?
Polygon graphics, maybe?
Polygon. Polygon, that's better.
Did I say that right?
These are polygons, yes?
Very
That was the
good.
correct word. I got one.
Yeah, looks great. I will be checking this out. This looks up my alley. But
Speaking of
there
up
you go.
one of our alleys, Binary Dungeon. Nick, did you see this? This looks like a, a pretty Nick game.
Opening the link.
Have you played Down and Right? Have you guys seen that? Down and Right?
I've not.
Well, anyway,
I
this
don't
looks
think
very
so.
similar
Yeah.
because you're playing down and right. You're making the selection either down or right.
Hmm.
Oh, right
Hmm.
and down. Look, played using only two buttons, right and down.
Huh.
Great minds think alike. That's what they're going for. You're either making the selection to the right or down and making your way through the dungeons.
A roguelike dungeon crawler and card game. Man, if that doesn't say Nick with a dungeon theme, I don't know what does. I guess we
Yeah,
know our
Very
pick of the
cool.
week in a few weeks. All right.
does look really fun. It's $8 by MC2 Games or Mick2 Games.
Good, good, good. Anything else we got on the
Do
in
we
the
have,
inventory,
do you
Don?
want to do games on sale? Are there a million of them?
Yeah, we
Or
do.
no,
Oh,
there's
I love
only
the games
two.
on sale. Oh, I can say them all this time.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm saying them. Clicking the link, and I'm saying the Scrolling Enigma is 25% off for $3, and Orbo is on sale for 40% off, $5 to $3 this week and this week only, probably, but maybe longer. Who knows?
There you go. Let's move on to our next segment.
Hubity boo, pick of the week. And this episode, we're not picking one, we're picking 30 games. Not kidding, because this week is our top 10 of 2024. The way we're doing this is we're all going around the horn. We're all talking about our top 10th one. Then we're moving up to 9 and so on until we all get to our number ones for 2024. This is an episode we've been waiting for. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to hear about Dawn and Nick's faves. I'm ready with my list. Who wants to go first, Dawn or Nick? Nick, how about you go first? Sorry to ask and then take it away from you, Dawn.
Nick, let's hear it.
My number 10 is Dynamate. And this is the puzzle game where you're moving from one side to another.
Yeah, and that was based off an older PC game, was it not? If I'm remembering correctly.
I think it was PC or GP2X. Yeah.
GP2X, yes.
Yep.
Good memory. You
By
must be getting sleep.
Joyrider 3774.
Yep. How about you, Don?
That was a deep pull, yeah. My number 10 is Angel Pop by NNNN. This is
Mm.
the twin stick in air quotes because there are no sticks. Twin stick shooter with clashing art styles just coming in from all directions, and the game gets harder or easier depending on your play quality. And it's got a story mode and everything, and lots of options and features, and just like there's so much packed into Angel Pop by NNN. It's just this was a game that we spoke at length with
About?
about a few episodes back. So
We
yeah,
all
very
need sleep,
cool
evidently.
experience. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know how to speak
Let's
English.
all open that up.
Well, with three brains, maybe we'll get out one sentence. But
Unlikely.
yeah, I remember playing this game, Don, and so glad you picked it. This was one of my honorable mentions. It didn't make my top 10, but it was up there. And yeah, just such a chaotic good time. Yeah, really fun.
Cool. Ryan, what is your number 10 game of 2024?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Don, because mine, you might remember, it's called Spilled Mushrooms. This is by John Weechok, and we played this very recently. And this left a real good taste in my mouth. While I personally had a little difficulty with the onboarding process, once I understood the game, I thought it was actually quite captivating and just super, super smooth, super slick. Loved the way the cards were laid out. Loved the illustrations that were part of each of them. I loved the sort of overarching wacky theme of trying to fetch these mushrooms and using animals to do them, to collect them rather. I just thought the whole thing was super polished and a really inventive game. So that was my number 10. You guys remember that one?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah. It's been a week or so, but nice pick.
Cool. Thanks. You too, Don. You introduced me to it a whole week or two ago. But with that said, Nick, what's your number 9?
Number 9 is Dolphin Splash by Spellbar.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, this is a game where you are a dolphin and you're tasked with completing certain challenges in order to proceed. And it's really cool and reminded me a lot of course, the inevitable comparison, Echo. But I found this to be a lot easier to control and a lot more captivating. So very cool. Dolphin Splash.
Yeah, I feel like this one was more score chasey than Echo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Less adventure, more score chasey. Yeah.
Yep. You've got these, sort of minimalist levels that you can make your way through, and you're sort of racing, and instead of a track, it's like under and above water occasionally. But yeah, real great crank integration on this one. I had a fantastic time competing on this. It looks like still representing Hello Playdate podcast on a couple of these scoreboards. That's good.
Nice. Hanging in there. I
Yeah,
knew it was going to show up on somebody's list today.
you are right. Not only once. Foreshadowing.
I
Don?
wonder what that could mean. My number 9 is a game called Quizzical by Totally Under Control.
Hey, got a Toad Jam in here.
Yeah. This is a game where you'll review some information like a chart or something and then have to take a quiz on it and hopefully pass the quiz to continue playing the game and going on and on and on and on and on and try and pass more and more quizzes and get a high score.
Hmm, Neat.
It's more fun than taking quizzes in school. It's compelling.
Equally as stressful, right?
It does get a little stressful, but it's got that high level of polish that Toad is known for as well. It's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Right on. Cool. Good pick again, Don. For my number 9, I picked Pregnant Pause. Medial. You guys remember this one? This is the Sudoku meets Minesweeper. It's sort of like you've got these different shapes like hexagon, square, and triangle, and you're trying to sort of Sudokuize them into this 5x5 matrix. And there's a number of different mechanics and rules that make it really fun and challenging. Anyway, I had a ton of fun with this one that was made by Stephen Allen, and it's only $2 on catalog, so hard to say no to that.
Heck of a deal.
I'll say.
Yeah, great puzzler. Never leaving my play date.
Okay. Number 8 for me is Angel Pop by NNNN.
Hey.
You may be familiar with this game from Don's number 10. This is number 8. Don, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is a game called Spilled Mushrooms by John Weechok.
Hey.
We spoke about it in our last episode.
I remember that.
Ryan just featured on his list. Roguelike deck builder. Roguelike? I don't know if it's roguelike, but it's a deck builder and it's a lot of fun. So check it out.
Neat. Well, I agree. In that top 10, speaking of top 10, speaking of number 8, my number 8 happens to be Sato Light. This is made by Lubu, and it's that Planet Tower Defense game that Don picked a while back. And it's another game where I would not have picked this one up had Don not picked it as his pick of the week. But hey, here it is in my top 10 at my number 8 position. I had a ton of fun with this one. Really enjoyed the different mechanics associated with this one and really trying to make it past each level. It's also got a nice light story associated with it, like between levels. You've got these sort of humorous, space cadets talking with each other, trying to figure out the lay of the land. Anyhow, really enjoyed my time with this.
Yeah, very nice. Nick, back to you.
Number 7 is Direct Drive by DAC Vector. And
Ah,
this is the record spinning recording game.
I remember
And
that one too.
yeah, a lot of fun. Different tunes. Strikes my fancy in a number of different ways. But that's number 7 for me, Direct Drive. How about you, Don?
Correct guy. My number 7 is Ren Sword by Power Dive Games.
Wait, what now?
My number 7 is
Ren
Ren
Sword?
Sword. Ren Sword, yes.
Is this on catalog?
It is on catalog. It is currently $7. I played it on itch, but it did come to catalog at some point because I have that link here. But it is a game where you will take a few letters, kind of like Scrabble. You make a word out of it, but when you make a word, each letter has like a different attack value, and you will attack different monsters, and they'll attack you too. So you have to manage your health and your defense and whatnot, and try and kill the monsters before they kill you. But there's like a little story and stuff, and um, yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, Rend Sword. Okay,
Rend
I
Sword.
was looking up REN Sword and coming up empty. Okay, okay. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one. We've not played this as a pick of the week.
Nope,
Have we?
we
Or
have
have we?
not.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Phew. Brain is functioning. Yeah, this looks real interesting. Cool pick, Don.
Yeah,
Came out
it's
of the
fun.
blue on this one.
Yeah, you build a deck, and each letter has different abilities and stuff. So,
Huh. Very cool. So is this sort of like Wordly or is it Scrabbly or like
uh,
what or is it
it's
not
not
any of those
Wordly.
E?
No, it's not Wordly. It's Slay the Spire, I guess. It's I mean each because each letter has its own abilities, you want to build a deck that is strong. So there is some, you're picking new you're picking new cards. So each game is different. It's a roguelike, so each playthrough is going to be different. It's not just spelling words, spelling words, spelling words. Like trying to think, Letter Quest, I think, is similar. This is Letter Quest, but with more abilities.
Hmm, interesting. Cool. Well, Catalog's got this categorized as RPG slash puzzle. If that tickles your
That
fancy,
sounds, yes.
as maybe Dawn's description does as well, man, looks like a cool game. Rend Sword. I
Great
think that
game.
means it's my turn, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. My number 7 is drumroll Hannah. Wait, there was a Hannah Space Time Fantasy. I knew there was a subtitle in there somewhere. Hannah Space
Hmm.
Time Fantasy. It's a very pulpy looking game, but we reviewed this for a game of the week, a pick of the week. I'm not sure whose it was, but I remember all of us playing through it. And I, for one, really like this. There were some odd game mechanics in here with like a sort of teleportation mechanic, a lot of puzzly elements, but really interesting story to go along with it. And kind of like a two part of a story. It's almost like you finish part of it and you think maybe you're done with the game, but then it sort of opens up into this different type of play experience. So the whole thing was just really kind of different and interesting and fun for me. So that was my number 7. You guys remember this one?
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Whose
I
pick
think
was this? Was this a Dawn pick or a
I think it
Nick
was
pick?
Nick's.
I think it was a Nick pick. Yeah,
Hey,
I
so
think
you
it's
remember this
Hana.
one, Hana?
I do. I don't remember uh, playing that last year, but that must be the case.
It must have been because
It's on your list. All right.
there we go. Yes, we played it last year. Evidently, it was first published late 2023, and so once in a while on my list, I've got a late 2023 because we didn't have time to play it before we did our best of 2023. So now I'm saying for best of 2024. But it did
Yeah,
have an update in August of 2024. So hey, there you go.
Very cool.
that's fine.
There's my rationalization.
We'll let it go. Nick, what's your
All
number
right.
6?
Number 6 is Mad City by Tanuk Prad.
Oh
And in this
yeah.
game, you're tasked with making decisions at each intersection as you drive through a town. And you're trying to make your way to an exit. Very fun.
That was a fun game. And that was also on my my God, what the heck?
Honorable mentions?
Honorable mention, thank you. Jiminy Christmas. That was on my honorable mentions. Nearly squeaked into my top 10, but I love that mapping version that it shows you after you're done
Mm-hmm.
making your route, and you can see all the wacky twists and turns that you made
Watch
throughout the
myself
city.
turn in a circle the whole
Yeah,
time.
totally.
Mhm.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick. I've dig me some Mad City.
Yeah, great game. Okay,
All right, done.
my number 6
Yep.
is Snickers by Dennis
Oh
Schmidt,
gosh, yes.
a side-scrolling, technically puzzle snake game with power-ups, and I love the polish, I love the humor. Just a really charming take on Snake.
I'm over here with my hands waving in the air for this pick, Don. I will talk about this game also at some point. We'll see what that means.
Very
So I
nice.
fully, wholeheartedly agree with Snecris. But in the meantime, I had a different number 6, which is a different animal that also starts with S. It's called squids. So this is
Mm.
a Flappy Bird like, and it's got some different types of mechanics to it. Floaty, swingy, cranky, lazy, all kinds of different ways to make your squid move or make the pipes move or all kinds of different stuff. There's a lot of different ways to play this game, and I found myself really getting attached to it and fighting for some higher scores. Yeah, just had a ton of fun with it, and that's Squids.
Very
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
My number 5 is Halfway to Dawn by Cyberleaf Studio. And this is a survival adventure game that has you're prepping for an intense night of action by exploring different ruined locations after some sort of apocalypse. And yeah, enjoyed this one very much.
Good
Uh,
call.
Yes, I
Don?
remember
Oh,
thinking about this one that I was so thankful that we are all the way to Dawn on our podcast. I would not want Dawn halfway here.
We're
Dawn, I'm glad you're with
that is
us.
true. Yes.
halfway to Nick's list
Um,
right there.
so, Don, speaking of Don, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Satellite by Lubu.
Yeah.
Brian mentioned it earlier. It is a tower defense game, which I normally hate, but this one was so fun.
So fun.
You're just shooting stuff off of your planet and trying to judge distance and waiting for your towers to come back around as the planets orbit and screaming at your playdate, "Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!" And it was just really fun, and the little story was charming too, and it just did everything right, and the difficulty curve was just right and stuff. So, uh, highly recommend Satellite.
Wholeheartedly agree. A fine, fine number 5 pick, Don.
Top
Speaking
five.
of Speaking of number five picks in the top five, here we go. My number five happens to be Water Flow. So, Water Flow is a game by Torsten Kramer, and it's kind of I think the original version was called Pipe Dream. Is that right? So it's kind of pipe
Hmm.
dream-esque, but you're turning these different pipes, allowing the water to flow, and there's 70 levels, or you can do an endless mode for high scores. I found that really enjoyable as you start to like chip away at some of your blocks, and then it's a real challenge to keep it moving past some of these blockades that you find yourself in. Anyhow, I just really fancy this game, and for two whole dollars, again, hard to beat. So Water Flow's my number five.
I forgot that was this year. We covered a lot of
Think
games this
so.
year. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Really had to comb back through some of them. So this one was another one that was very late, 2023 published at the end of December 2023. So in my book, it's going in my best of 2024. Also updated in 2024.
Nice. All right,
All right,
Nick.
my number four, you may be familiar with The Time Flies in Time Flies
Ooh,
Like an Arrow
an
by
Ian
Ian Harrower
Harrower
Games.
joint.
That's right.
Hmm.
So in this game, you're tasked with catching as many arrows as you can, and then capturing a criminal by traveling into the past and using your past's actions to help you capture this criminal. Um, Very creative and unique uh, idea, and I found it very humorous and fun to play. So that's Time Flies Like an Arrow, Ian Harrower Games, number four. All right, Don, what's your number four?
Well, before we move on, I just wanted to echo what Nick said about time flies like an arrow. I don't really, I can't really think of a game that's like it. You were talking about how unique
Hmm.
it is, and I would totally agree. Like what a wholly unique concept of working with your past self to accomplish a task. Just really interesting. Am I am I off base in saying that? Can you guys think of anything that's like it?
It's a Strands game. It's a Strands like, right, Nick?
That could be.
Yeah, it was a really charming game. I can't, I don't know. I feel like there's been games that have messed with you setting things up for your past self, but I don't know if it's as immediate as Time Flies Like an Arrow.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Anyhow, good pick, Nick. Good game, Ian Harrower.
Yeah, great game. Okay, we're on number four.
Number four,
Yes. Hmm.
Mine is Podcast by Powered
podcast.
by Power Dive Games.
My favorite.
Yes, it's a fictional language. So a lot of the instructions and stuff are in this fictional language, including the instructions in the game and the menus and whatnot are in this fictional language. But the idea is it's sort of like a match. It's not really a match three, but you're matching piles of creatures and then they compress to the left. So sort of like Super Puzzle Fighter or something set on its side. A little bit like that, but not quite, because you're also using something like the Pixel Lines series or Pixel Lines, where you're drawing these lines to make your matches. And you're doing all this on the Playdate. And the art style is also really unique and not something like I've seen done on the Playdate before. And it just became really addictive. So simple to play, hard to master, that type of thing. And it was something compelling about it not being in English too. It made me feel like when I was getting it, I had a big brain moment. So um, just very compelling.
Yeah, cool. That does feel really rewarding when you can figure out some puzzles like that. That's really neat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got a leaderboard, so it was fun to try and chase my way up. I am nowhere near with I mean, the lowest score is 33, which is getting 33 groups of monsters before you run out of health. So
There's ein Leaderboard. Oh,
I'm not
Let
quite
Better
there yet.
Games is there.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Orkin's up there, Scissors is up there.
Ah, come
Yeah.
on, Don. Represent.
I gotta get up there. But anyway, this is Power Dive Games, $5 on catalog right now. So that's podcast.
Podcast. It's the best.
Yes.
Very
Ryan.
good. Good pick. Okay. Number four, I hear. My number four is Under the Castle. Under the Castle, my number four. Again, a very late 2023, but updated in 2024. We talked about it in 2024. And man, what do I say about this game? I feel like this was one of the most anticipated games of a year ago, and just incredible graphics. Really interesting, like, would you call this turn-based? It's
Sort of.
dungeon dungeon conquering game. You're sort of making your way down through these different levels, trying to defeat the big baddie eventually. Man, I just had a ton of fun with this one. It's $10 on catalog. It's an action RPG. Um, Check it out if you haven't. This was a real hyped one, but I thought quite worth the hype.
Very nice. That was in my top 10 last year.
Was it? It was so late. I thought surely it could not have been, but I guess it was. Whoopsies.
That's okay. You can enjoy it this year too.
I
Or
did.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year?
Every
Every
year.
year.
It's evergreen.
Okay.
Speaking of evergreen, my number three is Off Planet Dreams by Ledbetter Games.
Ah,
And if you're familiar with the tale of a boy and his blob, and you always wanted to control the blob, now's your chance in Off Planet Dreams. This is a really interesting take on a platformer
mhm.
where the platforms are initially invisible and you're having to kind of feel your way through the level. I really enjoyed that unique twist on navigation. It's something that you take quite for granted in most other platforming games, in that you kind of know where you're lining up your jumps and so forth. And in this case, you don't necessarily until you try and fail. Um, I really enjoyed that particular mix and the accessibility options that make um, navigation a little easier if you would like for them to be. Um, I just thought it was very well done all the way through. Uh, so that's number three, Off Planet Dreams, Ledbetter Games.
Yeah.
Don?
Yeah. I was gonna mention
Oh,
that whole
right.
potential for sort of seeing where you're going to. Like if you're not up for the whole platforming in the dark thing,
Mhm.
it's nice that there's a number of different ways to approach the game too. Yeah, really, really cool pick, Nick. Another great game from
Mhm.
Ledbetter.
Mm.
Very nice. My number three is Be Kind to Yourself by Mufon Cloud. This is a side-scrolling shooter with just a million features and layers to the scoring, and it's just a lot of charm and polish. Had a lot of fun trying to figure this game out and get into it, and talking to you guys about it was a lot of fun. This I think this summer we played it.
Yeah.
Um, it was just really interesting, and Mufon Cloud just packs his games with so much uh love, and you can just tell he's compassionate about or passionate about his games.
Mhm.
And it comes through to the players because you every nook and cranny of the game, the menus and everything, just has so much information in it, and um, the website that he set up for it has is just beautiful, and it's just a different type of experience to play a Mufon Cloud game. It's like a AAA experience on the Playdate. So just had a lot of fun getting into Be Kind to Yourself, and I can't really think of any other. game like it. Um,
Yeah, and I was also going to say really thought-provoking too. Like I remember playing this game and yes, it looks like a side-scrolling space shooter, but really it's more puzzly than that.
mhm.
And I did not know of this game I'm about to say at the time of playing Be Kind to Yourself. But since then, I've been playing this Game Boy game called Quarth. It's like this disguised as a vertical scrolling shooter, but it's not. It's really quite puzzly in nature.
Hmm.
I'd say it's more close to Tetris than it is a vertical scrolling shooter. And after I played Quarth a couple times, it really started giving me like an early Be Kind to Yourself vibe. It's not nearly as thought out. No, that's not the right way to say it. It's not nearly as complex as Be Kind to Yourself. Like there's a lot of ways to strategize and be kind to yourself. Whereas in Quarth, it's more like bust these blocks. And there's basically one way to bust these blocks. But the space shooter combined with puzzly elements, combined with screen scrolling elements, combined with breaking objects elements, it gave me some light early be kind to yourself vibes. So I don't know if anybody's played Quarth before, but my son and I have been really digging on that game, and yeah, I kind of saw a little bit of a link there. I wonder if Mouflon Clouds ever played Quarth.
How do you spell it?
Quarth.
Hmm. Not
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah. My son found it on our multicade, and we've since liked it enough where he just gave me a Valentine's present of the Quarth cartridge, bought himself one, and now we've been battling with the link cable. So it's a super fun game. You can two-player it too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with this cover. I've definitely seen this before.
Okay. Yeah, kind of a sleeper. Look it up. It's not expensive, but I went to a couple local game stores and neither of them had it. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of a weird one. We've never even seen it before." Like come through the store. He's like, "It just
Mhm.
never shows up." So, anyway, thank you eBay. But great pick, Dawn, with Be Kind to Yourself as your number three. And my number three happens to be Montgolfier Brothers Test Flight by Rapcal. Do you guys remember this one? You are a floaty little hot air balloon, and you get swooshed along by these lovely wind turbines. There's some uh, relaxing music going through the background that I can hear in my head right now. But at the same time, you've really got this like pinpoint accuracy that you need to hit if you are going to move forward and beat your past score, which I found so engaging, so visually uh, stimulating. Like the graphics on the game just look incredible. You've got this lovely reflection on the water below. Um, this serene music going on. And I just remember playing the heck out of this game. Just talking about it now makes me want to get back to it and play it some more. But with that said, what did you guys think
Hey,
about Test Flight?
Ryan, have you kept up with the dev updates in our Discord?
I don't, I'm very bad at Discord, so no.
Well, there's some cool stuff that is in development for that game.
Updates coming?
Mm, I
Hmm.
believe so.
Hey, gotta look into that. Well, if you haven't checked it
Um,
out, ooh,
I was going to say excellent pick. Very fun game. So,
why, thank
Indeed.
you. For some very strange reason, this game is still name your own price on itch. So go grab it before RapCal wises up and charges something reasonable for it.
Very good.
Nick, what's your number dose?
all right. Are you all ready to crawl some dungeons with me? It's
Let's do it.
time for Under the Tree. It's my number two. And yeah, it's I. really enjoy old school role-playing games, computer role-playing games, where mapping and knowing your way through the maze is a huge portion of the game. And Under the Tree really scratched that itch and brought a lot of modernization to that type of gameplay. Um, very much appreciated it and thought it was really fun.
Did you break out your graph paper, Nick?
I didn't because there's an auto map feature in this one.
Yeah.
That was this year.
I looked back through our recordings, and that was a pick of the week in 2024. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. Time flies.
2024
Wait
was
till I
so
get to my number
long.
one.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don?
my number 2 is Bender 2, Bend Harder by Matt Sefton. This is one I was addicted to for months. It is, well, it's a bending game. You bend a bar, and that's it. You have to be the best at bending it. You bend your way to oblivion. But remember one thing, your aim is perfection. So yeah, there's several different modes, there's achievements, there's a bunch of leaderboards, and it's just addictive. I think it's just a one button. Well, no, there are some modes where there are more than one button. But for the most part, it's one button. You just try to tap the button and get it to bend to the perfect angle. As simple as it is, it's just perfect. Matt Sefton has a way of just creating these um, bite-size, perfect little experiences on the Playdate, and this is like sort of the epitome of that. Um,
Don, can with your practice with this game, can I hire you as a press break operator?
I could, I might
Well, good.
break some stuff, but I'm not at
Not
the
with
top of
your
any of
not with
these.
your bend to bend harder skills. I have faith in
That's
you.
right.
You should
Yeah.
hire Blue Cap Chickadee, who's at the top of most of these leaderboards. That's who you should hire.
Okay, I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah. But it's got a game manual and everything. He does a nice job creating those. But anyway, there's just a lot to love here. It's $8 right now. I can't say enough nice things about Bender 2, Bend Harder.
Yeah, sometimes those simple games are the ones that sink their teeth into you and are just so
Mhm.
darn fun. Very cool. Good pick, Don. Speaking of good picks, my number 2 happens to be repeated. It's Dolphin Splash. Dolphin Splash, we talked about this already, but it was even higher on my personal leaderboard. You got these races underwater, you're making several laps, you're trying to beat your time. You can even race against a ghost of yourself to help you speed up in your time trials. Man, this is we just talked about, one of those simple type games that really sunk its teeth into me big time. I just had such a fun time playing this, and when we were talking about it, it was one of those times where I was sick. I was isolating myself from my family so as not to get them sick, and this game was keeping me company. So I've got a lot of good feels toward this one, and I think you can too for only $4 on catalog right now.
It's a nice price.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, fun game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is
All
it
right.
time for number 1?
I think
My
it is.
land. This is the spot where Don edits in some very anticipatory
Nothing.
music or some drum
Absolutely
rolls.
nothing.
Okay.
Okay. So my number one is a repeat from Ryan's list. It's Under the
Ooh,
Castle.
Ah, made it all the way up there. Excellent.
Yep. Um, really incredible action RPG and a lot of fun to experiment with different loadouts and so forth. Um, beautiful animation, graphics, uh, great audio. So yeah, Under the Castle, number one. Don, how about you?
Now I'm worried that I didn't put it on my list last year. I think it was number two last year because it did come out very late last year.
Yes.
Well, if it wasn't on my list, it is a very good game. So it would be very high up this year if I didn't forget it last year. Anyway, my number one this year is a game that has been mentioned already. It is Off Planet Dreams by Ledbetter.
Hmm.
I was
Nice.
really won over by this game. It's the cute little animations got me, but as Nick mentioned quite a few things about it, not knowing it's a platformer where you don't know where the platforms are, which is just such a brilliant idea. And there's a story woven in there that has a lot of twists and turns that present itself in through gameplay that was unexpected and kept me wondering what was coming next. And for this little tiny screen and this little character that's just a little blob, it really did a good job telegraphing emotion and storytelling. Um, yeah, I mean, I've liked all the Leadbeard games, but this one felt like he had really kind of raised the bar even higher for this type of thing. So I feel like this is the one game this year that I was like, oh yeah, you got to try Off Planet Dreams. Um, yeah, lots to love there. That's my number
Indeed.
one.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick as
Definitely.
well.
Yeah.
Well, my number one pick happens to be the game that literally, physically broke my Playdate. So for
Uh-oh.
short-time listeners, you might recall that my Playdate went busted and I had to get a new one. Well, this game happens to be Snecris. Snecris was the game that okay, so essentially there is like a little plastic housing built around your D-pad, and I was playing this game so much that the reason my Playdate stopped working is because that plastic housing shattered. And my buttons no longer worked, and I had to get a new Playdate game, or console rather. And I'm so happy to mention that this game was the culprit for it because I was playing it so gosh darn much. Snecris is a really inventive take on Snake. Yes, you are moving around as a snake. Yes, you're trying to chomp on some fruit, but you've got three different kinds of fruit you can munch on. But there's different rules and mechanics for how and why you want to get each particular fruit. There's a fantastic risk reward built into it where you're trying to build up your snake as long as possible, of course, just like, traditional snake. But if you build it up too long, this side scrolling action that was mentioned before is going to cut off your snake and then all your work is for naught. Oh, there's just so many incredible mechanics built into this. This will be one of the last games to ever be deleted from my personal Playdate, and it was one of the first ones to toss back on there when I got my replacement. So, Snecris by Dennis Schmidt. Dennis Schmidt, this is an audio bow down to you for making Snecris. Thank you for making this wonderful, wonderful game. And again, $4 if anybody else wants to try this one.
You're still number one on the global high scores.
Oh, I didn't even say. I honestly did not remember that until you mentioned it right now. But I do remember battling out for that top spot. Yeah, yeah, cool. Such a
Just
fun game.
just ahead of Riz Man.
Hey, who's got the Riz now, man?
Oh boy.
All right. So that's it, guys. We finished our top 10. Hey, listener, I have a secret to tell you. Did you know that before this episode, Don was like, top 10. This isn't going to last us a whole episode. We can do a game review as well.
We usually do. But
I
We
I
do
don't
usually. I went
do
back and
we
looked.
actually? Oh,
yeah.
Hmm.
interesting. Well, I'm glad we did
We
this
bullied
time.
Don
We
into foregoing the pick of the week this week. But Ryan,
Nicholas,
what's next?
thank you
You,
for that Lovely segue, which I butchered. But next week, next episode, next fortnight, we are going to play a Ryan Pick of the Week, which happens to be Negative Reinforcement by Digicarrot. So you might remember the name Digicarrot from such jams as Escapion and Queen of Minecarts and many others, but he's got a new one that I think is part of that Uncranked Winter Play Jam, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. And I was looking around for new Playdate games. I wanted to play something new, something 2025, and happened upon this one. And oh man, I've been having a lot of fun with this. It's a math-based puzzler. That's a horrible description because it makes it sound like homework. It's not. There's some really interesting puzzly platform, not puzzle platform, puzzle action, I'd say, like overhead view. Anyway, you guys go download this. It's free, name your own price right now during the game jam. I had a couple of back and forths with Digicarrot on the itch page, and evidently they are working on a final build. The build is good as it is if you just happen to download it in the next day or three, but he says he's going to try working on it over the weekend and maybe get a build up that fixes just a couple things. But in the meantime, there's a lot there to love.
So I saw there was an update post that, and
Oh,
they said that submissions are locked until after March 1st. So the new build won't go up until after next episode.
thank you.
Mm.
Okay, so we will
Yep.
be playing the Game Jam build. Thank you very much, Nick, for checking in on that. But hey, I've been having a ton of fun, and I hope you will too.
Cool. I'm looking
All
forward to
right.
trying it.
Cool. So until we chat with you about that
Oh,
game
whoa, whoa,
next
whoa, whoa.
episode, you what? What?
I'm sorry. I'm almost dropped the ball. We had some listener top tens
Ah,
Yes.
let's hear them.
that I am trying to find as quickly as possible. Nick, do you happen to have them?
It's okay. It's
I
okay. Take your time. Just hurry up.
I found them. I found them. I found. Okay. We had some listeners submit their top tens. I'd like to read those from Dake, who is the dev behind Montpellier's test flight.
Test flight. Yeah.
Yes. Uh,
Montgolfier?
whatever you just said. Yes. So his. Oh, and I didn't say my. Oh God, I didn't even say my honorable mentions. Okay, my honorable mentions. I know Ryan's in a hurry. Are Dance Break Dance by Julie and Anders Bornskov, Hexa by Ray, Poker Poker Magic by Rafael Calabro, Close Approach by Stephen Namson, which came out today on the catalog. Shell Slinger by Zanya Lasagna and Pizza Fuel Dev, and Crank Venture Capitalist by Irish Jiminy. Did you guys have honorable mentions that you didn't mention?
Most of my honorable mentions were mentioned by one or both of you, but I will say a couple that weren't mentioned, like Unicycle Madness. Oh, loved that by Joni24. And also Gecko Snacks. Wanted to mention that too. That nearly made it into the top. Just barely squeaked out. But a couple of jams for me. Nick, any that weren't mentioned for you?
Uh, Lots. I mean, narrowing a list of releases for an entire year down to 10
Mhm.
is very difficult. Congratulations to all the developers who put out games in 2024 for all of us to enjoy. Um, so my honorable mention is all of you
Everyone.
devs. Great, great work. Um, Don, I've got this thread open now, and it sounds like you do as well.
Yeah.
Shall we return to listener top tens?
Yes. Yes. Okay. From Dake, excluding my own game, Poker Poker Magic, he says Mars After Midnight, 00 Perfect Stop, Void Blazers, Angel Pop, Be Kind to Yourself, Off Planet Dreams, Spilled Mushrooms, Time Flies Like an Arrow, Words, and Crank Casino.
Nice. That was a lot of games that were not mentioned by us.
Yeah, I have not
Mhm.
gotten to 00 Perfect Stop yet.
Cool.
Speaking of which, Johnny
Who
Darko
knows?
138, 00 Perfect Stop,
Mm,
Magic Castle, Along Comes the Spider, Valley of the Hollows,
yeah.
Throne Wars, Wirewalk, Terratopia, and Echo the Oracle Scroll, which I feel like both of you would have on your lists if you had played it.
Haven't had a chance yet. Downloaded, haven't played.
Maybe next year it'll be on.
Mhm.
And then last up from Dino, some of my favorites released in 2024: Off Planet Dreams, Montgolfier. How do you say it?
Montgolfier. Yeah.
Montgolfier Brothers Test Flight, Be Kind to Yourself, Angel Pop, Dolphin Splash, Satellite, and Squids. And then two games from 2023, Yo-Yozo and Kurobi. So there you go. Thank
Nice.
you, listeners, for sharing your lists as well. I got a couple games in there that I have not tried yet and need to play. I guess 00 Perfect Stop looks super boring, but I mean, it looks nice, but you're driving a train around. I guess I
I
got to
think
try
it
it out though.
looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don, should we have some competition with 00 Perfect Stop?
Maybe.
You and
Who
I
can
see
do the
who
most
can
perfect fifth
stop
stop?
more perfectly. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
0.0.
Sounds like fighting words. Let's get to it. But until that time,
Until that pick of the week,
until that pick of the week,
I
um,
think we might be ready for some closing remarks, like the fact that you can email us at helloplaydatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find this podcast at playdatepodcast.com. You can find us on the Blue Skis. We're at helloplaydate.blueski.social. And then I always get confused about what else to say, but we do have that Bingo's tip line where you can reach us at 724 Bingos 1. That's 724 246 4671. Man, I really want to hear some more folks on there. And I plead with you, I'm really asking every week for you to give that a call because I'd love to get you spliced into this episode and inconvenience Dawn to do so. So if you want to do that, once again, 724 Bingos 1. That is a really for real phone number that you can call and leave a message for us at the Hello Playdate podcast. I saw a highlight in our show notes for the Mastodon, so I think that means
I was
that
going to
Don wants.
delete it.
Oh, never mind then. I won't
That's
mention
fine.
it. Okay, Bingo's tip line is where it is.
Yeah, Blue Ski's your best bet. Yeah, if you call, leave a message with your favorite games of 2024, games that you loved.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
good
you go.
idea. I like that
and if you have
suggestion.
a bingo repair question at the
Oh my
same
God,
time,
There
you're
you
more than
go.
welcome.
Twofer.
we might not air that one, but sure.
Oh, and thank you for the comments on YouTube. Nick has been fielding those. We really
Oh,
appreciate
yes.
those.
That reminds Nick he needs to check them.
There you go.
But
Oh,
yes,
that reminds Ryan that he should also say we are also on YouTube. YouTube.com/at Hello Playdate Podcast will allow you to find this podcast on the YouTubes if that is a thing you enjoy.
so if you're in the market for a new book in between this episode and the next, may I recommend One Bite at a Time book.com.
Oh, Pshaw.
And for myself, if you're interested in some pinball antics and some of the development stuff that I get up to, check out foramusementonlygames.com, at which you can not only buy a pinball game or multiple pinball games that I've made, but also music boxes, pins, clothing, all kinds of stuff. Check it out.
Nick's kids got to eat. Get on it.
That's right.
All right. Thank you
Right,
all.
guys. Indeed. Good lists, guys. Good lists, Don and Nick. Good lists, listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in for this whole long in the tooth episode. It was great chatting with you. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.